So in today's video, I'm going to be bringing you guys 3 Bradford City players who I think could leave the football club at this summer transfer window. If you do go on to enjoy, please make sure to drop a like on there for me. If you could try and hit 100 likes on today's video, that'd be massively appreciated. Subscribe if you're new as well. We're now on the road to 9,000 subscribers, so please make sure you are subscribed if you haven't already with that post notification bell on. It's free to do so, and it does massively help out. Get your thoughts in as well down in the comment section down below. Do you agree or disagree with the 3 players that I have suggested? I think we all expect there to be maybe 5, 6, 7 departures at the absolute minimum in this upcoming summer, and I've not gone with the extremely obvious ones. I've kind of gone with someone who might take a little bit of debate as well. We'll have a look at my personal overall opinion, then we'll have a look at some stats as well to maybe see if statistically some of these players maybe do deserve another opportunity. But make sure to drop a like on there for me, subscribe if you are new as well, and let's get into it. Starting out firstly then with Ash Taylor, a man who we signed last summer on a 2-year contract from Scottish Premiership side Kilmarnock on a free transfer. 32 years of age I think he was at the time, and he's been nothing short of an absolute disaster signing. Now I know I just said I wasn't going to go for the obvious people who I think will leave the football club, but that's more me talking about Lydon, Oliver, Timmy Odesina, who've been out on loan. The writing is already on the wall basically for them players, and I think even for some of these players as well, the writing is already on the wall. Simon Parker put out an article today about Ash Taylor, and that he's basically been told that he can move on from the football club. But I thought it was still certainly an interesting discussion point, because why on earth did we even try and sign him? When we signed him, obviously Mike Hughes was still in charge. We were looking to build out from the back and be a possession based side, so whether it was Mike Hughes or Stephen Gent, whoever thought Ash Taylor would be a good signing for the football club should never ever recruit any footballer ever again, because Ash Taylor is literally the furthest thing away possible from a ball playing defender. How on earth anyone thought he would be a good signing to play in a ball playing team made absolutely no sense. He didn't really offer much threat from set pieces. He runs like he's in quicksand. He's so slow. Every ball that goes in behind, you just think he's absolutely miles away. In his last game he played for the football club was Swindon away back in January, where he was absolutely terrible. He's been massively injury prone as well this season, calf injury after calf injury, and it's just best for all parties if we get rid this summer. If we have a look then at some in-depth statistics, this season Ash Taylor managed 10 League 2 starts and also 2 substitute appearances, compared it to someone like Matty Platt who managed 33 League 2 starts and 2 substitute appearances. And then also we had Sam Stubbs who started 22 games and also had 4 substitute appearances in the League 2 season. Now the reason why I'm comparing these 3 is because traditionally these 3 are your middle centre half. For the large part of the season we've had Tompkinson on the right and Kelly on the left. Obviously you've had players like Ugoke and Rideout come in either side of that, but traditionally that is how it has been, and then it's been between Stubbs, Platt and Taylor to take that middle spot. But a lot of them, all 3 of them, have had massive injury problems this season. Ash Taylor this season played 879 minutes in total in League 2, compared to Matty Platt who managed 2,937 minutes, and also Sam Stubbs who managed 1,968 minutes. In terms of their defensive stats then, Ash Taylor managed 0.2 tackles per game. Matty Platt on the other hand managed 1.6 per game, and then also Sam Stubbs who managed 1.6 per game as well. In terms of their interceptions, Ash Taylor averaged 1.8 of them per game, compared to Matty Platt who only averaged 0.9 interceptions per game, and then also Sam Stubbs who managed 1.9 interceptions per game as well. In terms of fouls, Ash Taylor committed on average 0.9 fouls per game, compared to Matty Platt who averaged 1 foul per game, and also Sam Stubbs who also averaged 0.9 fouls per game as well. In terms of clearances, Ash Taylor has quite a lot in this department. He averaged 5.4 per game, compared to someone like a Matty Platt who averaged 4.5, and also Sam Stubbs who managed 4.1 as well. So Taylor managed more clearances, but then you could argue that because we're having to defend more, that is the reason why he was then being able to clear more. Or you could just argue he was better at clearing the ball than Platt and also Sam Stubbs. And final thing that I do want to just quickly debate between is the blocks, which Ash Taylor averaged 0.4 of them per game, Matty Platt averaged 0.6 of them per game, and Sam Stubbs averaged 0.5 of them per game. So statistically you would say that Platt and Stubbs have had better seasons than Ash Taylor, apart from maybe clearances, and that's the only real thing that he's got going for him in terms terms of a defensive point of view. I mean, even if you're looking to try and build out from the back, Ash Taylor's passing stats this season, he only had a 58.2% passing accuracy, whereas if you compare that to someone like a Matty Platt, for example, he had a 64.2% successful pass rate, and even Sam Stubbs, who had a 74.1% successful pass rate. So on the ball, Stubbs and Platt much better. I know we are traditionally more of a long ball side under Graham Alexander, but even your long balls have got to be accurate, and Ash Taylor's just certainly weren't that. He's far too slow. He's still got a year left on his contract. He's 33 years of age. He's going to be very hard to move on, but he's not going to play at all next season. I think for me, if we know Taylor and Odesina are moving on, and hopefully Matty Platt signs a new contract, then I think we're still going to need 2 or 3 centre-halves as well, especially with Noah Wadsworth being released, which I still, to this day, don't really understand what did go on there. But overall, statistically, the eye test, everything that we've seen of Ash Taylor, we can clearly see he's not good enough, and I think it's best for all parties if he does move on this summer. Player number 2 is a little bit of a sad one, and that is Kevin McDonald. Again, similar to Ash Taylor, signed a 2-year contract on a free transfer with the football club in the summer. Wrong side of 30, you could definitely say that. I think he was 34 when he signed for the football club. Had a month, 6 weeks, something like that, where he was actually managing the team as well, which, looking back on it now, how on earth did we nearly make the playoffs when we had our central midfielder managing for 5 or 6 weeks, whatever it was in the end? Absolutely baffling stuff. But the thing with Kevin McDonald is he can be a good player. He's shown at Newport away, for example, he can be, on his day, the best central midfielder in the division. On that day, he was unplayable. And I've said it before, it was genuinely one of the best central midfield performances that I've ever seen from any Bradford City player. But the problem with McDonald is he now doesn't suit Graham Alexander's system, and he, again, similar to Ash Taylor, massively injury prone. McDonald must have had 4 or 5 different injuries this season, and then also missed about a month of football out whilst he was catching back up on his fitness. And I think at McDonald's age and what he's had to go through in his career, he needs to be going out and playing regular League 2 football, and I think he's still good enough to play at League 2. I just don't think it will be with Bradford City, because our system does not suit Kevin McDonald. He is a passer, very good with his feet, a very good technician, and we need our holding midfielder to be a ball winner like Smallwood. And we'll have a look at some of their statistics and compare them, but it's, you know, light and day between the pair of them. And even this season for Kevin McDonald, he just managed to 10 starts for the football club and 9 substitute appearances, compared to Richie Smallwood, who managed 39 starts for the club in the league this season and 3 substitute appearances. In terms of their minutes, Kevin McDonald managed 1,025, whereas Richie Smallwood managed 3,443. In terms of goals and assists, Kevin McDonald got no goals and 3 assists, and Richie Smallwood got 1 goal and 2 assists as well. In terms of yellow cards, Kevin McDonald picked 8 of them up this season, and Richie Smallwood picked up 13 of them as well. Now, Kevin McDonald is, what, 6'4", something like that, and he only wins 0.5 aerial duels per game. Richie Smallwood is probably less than 6 foot, I would take a guess at, and he wins 1.4 aerial duels per game, which for me personally, Kevin McDonald being 6'4" and barely winning any aerial duels per match, it's simply not good enough. Again, in a Graham Alexander system, you have to be very good out of possession, playing in this position. It's so important to allow our 2 more attacking central midfielders to get up the pitch, and Kevin McDonald's defensive stats don't look particularly great. McDonald only averaged 1 tackle per game in the league last season, whereas Smallwood averaged 2.5. In terms of interceptions, Kevin McDonald only managed 0.7 per game, Richie Smallwood managed 0.9 per game. Smallwood did commit a few more fouls though. Kevin McDonald only averaged 0.9 of them per game, whereas Smallwood did average 1.2 per game as well. In terms of clearances, again, Kevin McDonald only at 0.9, whereas Richie Smallwood is down at 1.1 as well, and it just goes to show that out of possession, Smallwood is definitely the much better player. Now, obviously, passing, you would expect McDonald to be better at him at. Kevin McDonald averaged 0.7 key passes per game, but Smallwood averaged 1.4 key passes per game as well. Now, McDonald's pass accuracy is much better at 78% compared to Smallwood's, who is 72.3% as well, but that's kind of the only real thing that McDonald has on Smallwood, is a slightly better pass accuracy, which you would definitely expect with the type of midfielders that they are. But McDonald, with his age, how injury prone he is, and the style of system that suits him compared to what Alexander is playing or gonna play next season, I just don't really see room for him next campaign, and I do think he will move on this summer. And the final player who I think could move on this summer is striker Tyler Smith. Now, I think out of the 3 of them, Smith is probably the least likely to leave the football club, and I do think if Smith goes, and I do hope if he does go, it is only on loan, because I think Smith could be a good player. He's shown glimpses in the league, but more in the EFL Trophy, that he can be a good player. Next season, do I see him going out and scoring 15-20 goals for Bradford City? No, I don't. Could he maybe go out on loan to a team a little bit further down in the division who don't really have much to play for, or their aims and ambitions are not necessarily to win the league next season and score 15 goals? I think he could do that. You know, if he goes out on loan next season, I certainly think he could do well. But the problem with Tyler Smith is in the league this season, he has massively underperformed. And we're going to compare a few of our strikers for next season and just see why I think Smith should probably go out on loan. Starting out then with the appearances. Tyler Smith this season managed 19 starts and 19 substitute appearances in the league. Jake Young, on the other hand, including his time at Swindon Town, managed 22 starts and 3 substitute appearances as well. Whereas Andy Cook this season managed 39 starts and 2 substitute appearances. And Callum Kavanagh for Bradford City managed 11 starts and 4 substitute appearances as well. In terms of how many minutes each player played, Tyler Smith in the league this season managed 1,682 minutes, Jake Young managed 1,961 minutes, and Andy Cook managed 3,453 minutes, while Callum Kavanagh managed 1,003 minutes exactly. Now, in terms of how much XG every player should have had this season, if you don't know what XG is, it's basically the amount of expected goals they should have based on the chances that they had, if that makes sense. Basically, I think I've explained that right, but Tyler Smith created a 9.24 XG in the league. Jake Young had 12.26, Andy Cook had 21.81, and Callum Kavanagh had 6.55. Now, if you have a look at how many goals each player scored, Tyler Smith scored 5 goals, Jake Young scored 16 goals, Andy Cook scored 17 goals, and Callum Kavanagh scored 5 goals. So if you do the maths on that, Tyler Smith underperformed his XG by 4.24 goals, Jake Young overperformed his XG by 3.74 goals, Andy Cook underperformed his XG by 4.81 goals, and Callum Kavanagh also underperformed his XG by 1.55 goals. So apart from Jake Young, every striker has massively underperformed this season. You would maybe say Kavanagh didn't massively underperform, but you think about the chances we've had this season, you could say Stockport away, Notts County away. They are 2 games which have massively hindered Andy Cook, whereas Tyler Smith in a lot of games would get 1 or 2 decent chances and he would fail to take them, whereas Andy Cook, he would have his bad moments in one singular game every now and again. They wouldn't be every single game, he would miss the odd chance, which is like Tyler Smith. You know, they're very different in terms of why their XGs are so poor. In terms of passing and the amount of assists that every player did pick up this season, Tyler Smith didn't manage a single league assist this campaign. Jake Young managed 4, Andy Cook picked up 8 in the league, while Callum Kavanagh also picked up 2. So every other player has contributed with an assist. Tyler Smith again failed to do so, and I think going into next season, I certainly see probably Cook and Kavanagh as you're starting to. Jake Young and Kavanagh can easily rotate, and then we get another physical striker to compete with Andy Cook, so I expect Vidin Oliver to move on. Where does that leave then Tyler Smith? He's going to be 5th choice striker probably next season, and we've got young Harry Edmondson coming through as well, and he's 25 years of age, so he could even find himself down at 6th choice. But I think even at 5th choice, Smith probably knows he needs to go out on loan, get some regular first team football, and I think, you know, he could well do a Jake Young and massively smash at his club, and we recall him in January. Jake Young could be terrible for his next season. Andy Cook might not be able to score. You don't really know, but based on statistically and what we've seen, I think it makes sense really for all parties to allow Tyler Smith to go out on loan this summer. But anyway, I'm going to leave it there then for today's video. If you have enjoyed, please make sure to drop a like on there for me. If you could try and hit 100 likes, as I said at the start of today's video, that'd be massively appreciated. Subscribe if you're new as well. We're now on the road to 9,000 subscribers, so please make sure you are subscribed. If you haven't already, with that post notification bell on, it's free to do so, and it does massively help out. I just want to say thank you very much for 8,500 subscribers. The support on the channel over the last 2 months has been absolutely outstanding, so thank you all very much for that from the bottom of my heart. It really does mean a lot. Get your thoughts in as well down in the comment section down below. Do you agree or disagree with the 3 players that I have suggested? Thank you all for watching. Have a great rest of your day, and I'll see you very soon for another one. Peace.